around the world, but especially on our continent. They shared their stories with our neighbors, and our neighbors shared their spaces with them.
Syndicates here. Yes, it is true. There is some syndicates that is happening inside the townships, and there is some crime that is led by immigrants. But do you want to know the percentage?
I need South Africans to be humbled. I'm praying for the day we get humbled as South Africans, because Rea Papa, and we're going to pay for it. You are so mean to non-South Africans.
That means you are also suggesting all embassies in South Africa must close down in immediate effect. People must go home, and all our ambassadors across the world must close office and come back, because we are fighting all foreigners.
So the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has spoken about the xenophobic attacks that is going on in South Africa, and has spoken to the people involved in this. And also I have other South Africans who are against this particular xenophobic attacks that is going on in South Africa. They are also speaking, and they are saying what they are supposed to say. And other Africans who have lived in South Africa before, also sharing what they know about South Africa. I don't want to talk much. Let's go into the video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. You don't lose anything by liking, so just give the video a thumbs up.
We do not walk alone in this freedom, fellow South Africans. And we did not walk into this freedom on our own. We were carried by a tide of solidarity from the nations of the world, from the nations of Africa. These countries opened their borders to our liberation fighters. When the apartheid government was pursuing our liberation fighters, they ran to a number of countries around the world, but especially on our continent. They shared their stories with our neighbors, and our neighbors shared their spaces with them. And they gave them safety. They even fed them. They gave them bread, and they opened their homes. They spoke for us when we could not speak for ourselves. They took risks so that we could be free. Their countries were bombed. Their nationals were killed. And all that they did for our sake as well. They supported our freedom. The leaders and the people of Africa kept our freedom alive and our struggle for freedom alive. It cannot be and must never be that we trample into the dust the African fellowship that made our freedom possible. We are a people who live the value of Ubuntu. We should never allow the legitimate concerns of our communities about illegal migration to breed prejudice and hatred towards our fellow Africans. We should not allow that to happen. Yes, we all have concerns, as many other countries in the world have concerns about undocumented and illegal migrants. We must not allow these concerns to give rise to xenophobia, to give rise to hatred that is directed towards people from other African countries or any parts of the world.
Oh, I'm praying for the day we get humbled as South Africans because Rea Papa, and we're going to pay for it. You are so mean to non-South Africans and don't think that there are no consequences for that. Why are you on the comments, don't speak our language, and you do that thing, yeah, Nikona, and you are mean, you say such mean, disrespectful things in languages that you know those people don't understand. You're doing those things thinking you're trying to trend, you're trying to be edgy and cool to South Africans. Nikona, oh, wenzani, oh, uyinja, in. Why are you calling people those names? Why are you being so mean to people? You are so mean even to people that genuinely like and support our country. A person could come to South Africa, enjoy Cape Town, enjoy Mpumalanga, and make a cute video speaking highly of, mind you, we have a terrible reputation in the world. People don't want to travel to South Africa because they think that we have the highest crime rate, we hate women are going to die in South Africa. When a tourist comes to South Africa and says, I had a good time in Cape Town, why are South Africans in the comments saying, go back home? Why would you kick someone out, a guest, who says, hey, I'm visiting and I think this country is very nice, and you go in the comments and you're like, oh, get out of my country, don't tell your friends, we need the money. You're crying about jobs, you're crying about unemployment, but you treat tourists this way. Even people that are not coming into South Africa, you treat them this way. When South Africans are applying for jobs in other countries, when South Africans are traveling to other countries, hey guys, South Africa is not the best thing after sliced bread. You need to stop acting like you don't need the world. You need to stop treating the world like Bankamasip. Hey guys, this is weird. And I'm waiting for that one day when a South African will make a video, Ale China, Ale Kai, Allah, about how mean the people are. And then Ukoma South Africa, commenting, wanting to cry. I'm waiting for that day because it shall come. No man is an island. Keep acting like you are the best country in the world. Nina, you don't need anyone. You don't need anything. You can speak to whoever, however you like because you're angry with your government. You take the anger that you have against the government and you met it against people that have nothing to do with what your government is failing to do for you. South Africans, we need to wake up. It's fine. I wrote a post about this on Facebook. You insulted me, it's fine. Come insult me again. You will remember this video. Let's change our ways. Let's change our ways. The people that deserve this anger are living very comfortably in Sandton and Bryanston and Clifton and the likes. The people you should be showing this disdain.
What made me take a few steps back was simply because when I was advocating for Operation Dudula, it was simple. The institution, the movement was fighting against undocumented foreigners committing crime in our country because we can't hold them accountable. And it's just too much. The stats say it is not my opinion. And when it moved to, we are now fighting all foreigners, I said, meeting, I'm not going to be part of nonsense, because if you're fighting all foreigners, you're talking nonsense. And it's not subjected to only Africans being foreigners. I mean, even you speak about UK, Europe, you speak about the West, America and so forth, and Asia. They're all foreigners. So there's no way that you can isolate yourself from the world. If you say you are fighting all foreigners, that means you are also suggesting all embassies in South Africa must close down immediate effect. People must go home, and all our ambassadors across the world must close office and come back because we are fighting all foreigners. And I was like, I'm not going to allow that. And what's the people that are suffering the most happen to be African foreigners by definition, because they are the closest to home. You don't find a Chinese guy chilling in Tembisa. You find a Mozambican, and you find Malawi, Bozim, and so forth chilling there. So as soon as you introduce that culture and you condition our people to saying to hell with foreigners, all of them, then you are saying that there must be a battle in our townships. There must be fights. We must kill each other. We must just talk nonsense about each other. And I couldn't stand there and advocate for that nonsense. A lot of the people, even listening to this interview now, they've never heard me speak of all foreigners must go. I've always addressed undocumented foreigners. If you find a video, SABC, any video, even social, where I am saying that to hell with all foreigners, I'll give you 10,000 for every video, no problem.
How in the world do you have a simple black South African walking around asking people about their immigration status? They're not immigration officers. They're not lawyers. They're nothing. They're just black South Africans. So how do you walk up to another black person, whether they be from Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Zambia, just because you're black South African? What gives you the right to walk up to a person for you to be the judge, jury, and executioner and begin to ask a black person their immigration status. Something you will never do. You will never ask a Chinese man what his immigration status is. All those white South Africans that are holding your country's economy in their hands. 80% of South Africa's economy is in the hands of white South Africans. And here it is, you walking around trying to kill Zimbabweans, trying to kill Ghanaians, trying to kill Nigerians, trying to kill Congolese, trying to kill us. In the name of what? That we're stealing your jobs? Well, first of all, you're lazy as hell in your own country. The reason those Zimbabweans are taking over those jobs is because you jokers don't want to do those jobs. You don't. You feel too high and mighty to do it. And South Africa has spoiled you guys. You get housing, you get free housing. When you have children, the government pays you for that. Honey, we don't have that over here. You come to Zambia, when you have babies, you're going to have to pay for them. The government's not going to take care of your babies. But over there in South Africa, you've got this crazy, twisted way of thinking. And then you turn around and then start blaming us for your woes. When you know good and hell well, the reason the jobs are being taken away from you is because you're lazy as hell. You can't do those jobs. Why? Because you're too lazy in your own country, in your own territory.
Dear South Africans, I think we are just doing things wrong. We have been watching all these sort of things unfold. This is not new. And I'm talking about some South African, because it's not all of us. You guys basically being on the streets, attacking fellow Africans in the name of what? What is the objective? What is the end goal for all of this? I really want to understand, because some of you are so shallow, to the point that you are basically just tagging along without understanding the impact of all this sort of things. This is huge. You need to stop. And before you do anything, ask yourself, what do I get out of it? There are things I feel like we have to bear in mind. We are a nation that was once oppressed, okay? We know how it feels to be in your house that you pay rent to or don't pay rent in. Maybe you live in rural places and be wondering if someone's going to come and get you in a bad way. We have been there. And I'm wondering, when you are targeting fellow Africans, I'm referring to Zimbabweans and Nigerians, Ghanaians, Kenyans, whatever country they came from, how do you feel? I mean, this is just beyond absurd. I mean, it's just not right. And whose idea is this?
Zimbabweans. You wanna fight them for crumbs while you're dying of AIDS? That's what you want to do?
Look, no, that I think you are. I understand. All your points are very sound, actually. But I'm saying you're making the same mistake that you're accusing Black South Africans of one blanket statement. You're saying all Black South Africans have the singular viewpoint. It's just not correct.
I am saying that Black South Africans are guilty. You guys are guilty of being the most colonized Black people on the entire planet Earth. In your colonial mindset, you keep yourself oppressed. The whites don't even have to do it proactively. And because you guys are so oppressed psychologically, you become the overseer seeking to oppress the other Blacks that come into your territory, thinking that you are somehow above them only because you have been more associated, more proximate to whites. I go to many African countries, and the funny thing is when I get around the Black South Africans, who, mind you, are broke. All of you are broke. I've never met a wealthy Black South African, ever. but you guys still so like, yes, well, I'm South African and I speak with a British accent, and the other blacks are so bad off in the other countries. Well, you guys are really resting on the idea that South Africa is a wealthy country, but y'all don't have the wealth.
I cannot talk about South Africa casually because a part of me still lives there. I arrived from Lagos in 2006 with dreams, and South Africa shaped me deeply. It refined me, stretched me, and gave my music another language. But they also gave me wounds I cannot deny. I remember being stopped by police because I was driving a nice car, and the first question was, where are the drugs? In that moment, I understood what it feels to be judged before known. Another time, I was trying to help one of my visitors who forgot their passport, and I was thrown in a police van and taken to downtown Johannesburg station, where the officer said they will make sure I rot in jail. Another experience I had was creating a music for a national project in South Africa where it was accepted. But the moment they realized that the producer was a Nigerian, they abandoned the project. Well, you're Nigerian, there's going to be a problem. It happened to me. And later I had to leave. So when xenophobia arises, I do not speak from theory. I speak from memory. But let me tell you the truth. If you still live in South Africa, some of you have serious investments in South Africa. It's not something you can shut down overnight. But unfortunately, you have to start to make plans to leave. Most people won't tell you this, but I'm telling you this right now. It's going to get worse. And you don't want to be the scapegoat for what they are feeling. Whether you have your papers in place or not, please leave. That's what I'm going to say. Whatever I shared just now is just a joke. Trust me, compared to real things I felt. I don't have the courage yet to share all of the things that I went through. It's crazy. South Africa, you are loved, and I wish you guys the best.
Particularly, what job do you do, and what job would they have taken away from you?
This is actually addressing some of the fundamental things that are happening throughout this week in South Africa. Now, as we are witnessing the horrific nature of attacks against Black Africans in South Africa, we also need to look at something positive that's happening between Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, because I think for this season, Botswana is actually cooking and it's showing a better brother mentality than what we are seeing in other countries. Let's watch this together.
Is the broader sense of the ease of movement of persons between Botswana and Zimbabwe, in which regard we've committed ourselves to the use of national ID cards going forward to facilitate and ease this movement. I've also shared with the Commission that in Botswana we are looking at the introduction of a cryptographic national ID card, which will obviate the need to carry the card around. You can have the details on your smartphone, and wherever you go, you basically just tap on the go. And we are in the process of deploying the requisite technology to achieve this. That is to make it easy for people to move between these countries. The second sense in which I treat your question is at a more durable level of people migrating, moving from one country to the next. And people do this for different reasons. Many Zimbabwean people will go to Botswana and request to settle there, to migrate. They will emigrate from Zimbabwe to Botswana, and I trust that others will emigrate from Botswana to Zimbabwe because they see opportunities. And at any rate, we are the same people, and so there shouldn't be a difficulty in that regard.
Now, we need to understand the concept that this president is actually showing us and giving us. So years ago, Africa actually announced through the AU what we call the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is called AfCFTA. So this concept says that instead of us looking abroad across seas for business opportunities and investments outside of Africa, African countries need to trade within the boundaries of Africa. But within the concept of doing that, we also need to integrate and also lessen the travel or the processing or the transferring of goods between one area to the other, meaning that we need sort of a borderless business territory. You know what I mean? Like, there are no supposed to be tariffs against each other African countries. They're not supposed to be like certain fees that we see happening at the current time. But Botswana, because it's proactive, has already started the process by the immigration system being a bit free and flexible for most migrants from different countries. And so far, bilateral relations have come from Namibia and Zimbabwe at the moment. They're trying to open up their borders so that there is ease of doing business and also traveling between one country to the other. Now let's watch this again.
But these migrations are often informed by the skills that these individuals possess, which they tend to take across the border and deploy there over a period of time, and over time develop a deeper affinity for the place where they were temporary and transient, and they settle there. And they settle there because they brought skills, which skills are needed, and they find that they would like to settle and become citizens, and we welcome all these. So migration in that sense, where opportunities abound, tends not to cause problems. Problems arise where people think others are coming to take their jobs. I saw a clip of some old and rugged white middle-aged men in the UK claiming that Africans were taking up their jobs. And the reporter asked him, particularly, what job do you do? And what job would they have taken away from you?
Now, this is the part when I say you should listen to understand. Who do you think is actually making sense? A person who is telling you that no one is taking your job. What have you done to acquire qualification to do the job? Do you have any requisite skills that you possess that make you do, like, okay, how do you go to a doctor and tell him that he's taking your job when you have not gone through medical school? How do you go to a teacher and say you've taken my job when you're not even a teacher yourself? So this is a fundamental thing that the president of Botswana is actually addressing, and it's a very important and crucial point to remember. South Africans generally, nobody is going to tell you that you should go and start a business. Nobody is going to tell you that you should go and start your own form of employment, because most foreigners that go to South Africa create their own sort of employment, and if they are qualified in certain ways, they go and grab these opportunities, and they don't grab them anyway. They are available for them to just take because they qualify. Now let's finish it off.
He was a jobless, skillless human being, but who was out in the streets protesting that some job of his has been taken. He has no skill to offer, nothing. And these people that he's criticizing and besmirching are people who have come to bring skills which are needed in that economy. So migration is always informed by some of these exigencies, and we encourage. We need a lot of skills across. We have developed skills in mining in Botswana, extraction. We believe that those skills are exportable. And so our people will migrate, will come to Zimbabwe because there are mining houses and opportunities here, and they should be free to do that. So migration in that sense is also a very good thing. And so I think the answer is exactly that. But I also said, when we deploy some of these technologies, we must make sure that even on the other side of the border, these technologies are there. They communicate efficiently and seamlessly with each other so that there is no lag And we think that we will achieve that. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because this is a very welcome idea. Like, I think this is going to change everything about the relations in Southern Africa, and also is going to turn this continent around if Western African countries, Eastern African countries start having these bilateral talks and opening up free movement of goods and services through border systems. This should change everything, and this will also communicate to countries that are xenophobic that no, Africa is one and we are related. Like I said, in Francistown there is a border called Ramakwebana, which is in Southern Africa between Zimbabwe and Botswana, and this border is literally dividing the Kalanga people who are on the other side in a town called Plumtree in Zimbabwe, and another one called Francistown, which is literally just a few miles away from each other, and there are families that are even known from the other side and the other side of Botswana. This tells you that for some reason these borders were just created for one purpose: to divide us.
The last time I was in South Africa, we opted to stay in an Airbnb, and we were there for like about 3 weeks in total. So of course, when you like use an Airbnb, at some point in time, like people are gonna have to come and clean. And it's funny to see that the person who came to clean was Kuku. But Kuku was not South African. Kuku was Zimbabwean. And the gardener was not South African. The gardener was also Zimbabwean. And the restaurant that we really enjoyed going to, I think because since we were there for some time, we kept frequenting that restaurant. And over time, we started noticing a pattern. And you have to kind of be looking for these things to notice them. All of the people that had a slight accent never have like their name tags on them. The South African guys did have their name tags. It was easy to read. But the guys who did work at a restaurant, if I'm being honest, like their Zulu was on point. Their Zulu was on point, and you could tell that they've been around in South Africa for quite a lot of time. But they all do not have their name tags. And because we were frequenting the restaurant quite a lot, you get used to the guys and people get comfortable around you. And when you start asking, like, where are you from? Where are you from? And turns out, I would say more than half of the service waiters in that restaurant were not South African. Don't let people fool you into believing that you're just imagining that service work is being taken by non-South Africans. The time of explaining is over. Like, we don't need to explain yourself.
So I remember the time I was in SA. I was going from SA to Angola. So I decided, let me stay in SA for I think it was 5 days. So coming back to Angola, I was on my way to the airport, the JHB airport, right? Just happens my Uber driver was one of those guys who hates Zimbabwe. He was I don't know if I would call him Dudula at that time, but that's what he was. He just hated Zim niggas. And I don't know, maybe he couldn't tell from my accent, but he was like, yo, these foreigners, I hate these foreigners. And I don't know how the conversation even started. I think I was on my way to the airport. He's like, when you go to the airport, watch out for these Nigerians. I said, how come? He said, they just steal. They rape our women. They're just like the Zimbabweans. I said, really? Elaborate. He said, the Zimbabweans, they're taking our jobs. I said, boss, but you're driving Uber. He's like, yes, they're taking our jobs. I was like, okay, cool. So I wanted to set him up. So I said, boss, so tell me more about you. Like, he was still hating. I was like, so boss, okay, fine. So where'd you go to uni? He's like, university? I didn't go to university. So what jobs? Once you don't go to uni, you've already subtracted yourself from some of the job pools. He's like, I know Zimbabweans. How? You see, niggas are so lazy, they don't want to work. They'd rather just look for the next best thing to do. Blame someone else.
You see, these are some of the things that we are looking for. Definitely, I know what's happening in South Africa. It is not the whole of South Africans. Yes, definitely, it is not all of them. It's just a small group that is basically doing this. They've carried cameras around town and they are doing this. It's sad, you know, but I don't know what the government of South Africa can do to stop these people, because what they are doing, it clearly is not about applying the law, but I think it is hate. Because when you listen to some of the things that they say, like foreigners are taking their jobs and all that, it's not even only black foreigners that are in South Africa or Africans that are in South Africa. We have a lot of foreigners in South Africa. So why are you not going after those ones too? But only Africans. Self-hate. But this is what we are faced with, and this is what is going on. The president has spoken. I wish they are going to listen. I wish they are going to listen. But like in one of the videos that I played for you, one of the guys is saying that this is going to get worse, because he has lived in South Africa before and he knows that this is not going to stop, and it is going to get worse. So probably if you're African and you are planning on going to South Africa, I think with all these videos that are circulating and what is happening and what probably might happen, you can make a decision until we get to see that things are okay, they are not attacking foreigners, everything is cool, before probably you can go there. Fair enough. Thank you so much for watching.